Hello, everyone. This is Candice van Wyk. It's so good to be back with you all on this beautiful Friday. So thank you for joining me on my live reflections talk. And if you can just give me a moment just to connect with everyone just on my mobile device, and then we'll get straight into today's talk. So I am so looking forward to connecting with you all today. I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is knowing your financial truth. And at the same time, we're going to be talking about how you can use property as a vehicle to help you build your wealth. And of course, I'm going to be touching on some other insights as well. So as I was reflecting this week, as I've been spending time reading through my book, and I'll share it with you shortly, there were just a few nuggets, that really just appealed to me. And it just reminded me really the importance of also having this topic today and just sharing it with you all, because I think we are really living in a time now where it's so important for us to find ways on how we are able to really not only build our wealth, because I believe that will come afterwards, but the important thing is how we are actually able to secure our financial future through or by means of putting in place additional streams of income. So I think it's so important at this time that we actually find ways of how we are able to maybe put in place a second stream of income, a third stream of income, and even beyond that. So for many of you that know me, I believe in multiple streams of income. So I believe it's important for us to always pursue multiple streams of income and to start putting that in place. Now, today I'm going to be sharing with you how you are able to do that through property. But I think before we get into it, it's important, to first know what your financial truth is and to understand the importance of knowing your financial truth before you even start looking at any investment strategy or any business opportunity that is then able to help you put in place, the additional streams of income. Now, I see some of you are connected online. Let me just have a look here. So just give me a moment. Just give me a moment. Awesome. Thank you. I can see you, Sandile. Thank you so much for connecting with me. And I can see there's more of you. So just give me a moment. Awesome. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got any questions with regards to my topic or any comments, please do feel free to engage with me as well. I would love to hear from all of you, and I'd love to hear your insights and your thoughts also, just in terms of, some of the reflections that I will be sharing with you today. But I think, it's so important. It's so important for us to understand that, on this journey towards financial success or on this journey towards financial independence, it's important for us to know that education is a process of discovery. And financial education specifically is discovering where you are, where you want to be, and what you have financially, and then determining where you want to go. So everyone's financial situation is different, and I think that's important for us to understand. So I'm just going to say it one more time. So I said education is a process of discovery, and financial education specifically is discovering where you are and what you have financially, and then determining where you want to go. And then just knowing that everyone's financial situation is different. But it's important for you to know where you are today and where you want to go before you even start looking at financial strategies that will be able to help you achieve your financial goals. So you have to find out what you need, and you have to find out how much of money you actually require or want in order to meet some of those needs or to meet some of those goals, and obviously to start working on securing your financial future as well. Now, I've heard them say that money won't make you happy, but I guess everyone wants to find out for themselves, isn't that so? So I think everyone today wants to be in a position where we are able to put in place new streams of income so that we can start, achieving more of our financial goals. So everyone wants to find out for themselves. And I think that's the important thing to understand as far as this topic is concerned. So for those of you who are online today, I want to ask you, Are you clear about your financial goals? Do you know where you are today? Do you know where you want to be? Because I think that's really where it starts. So it starts with understanding where you are today and where you want to be, and then seeking out the knowledge that will help you get to where you want to be. And that's the important thing, is that we have to seek out the right knowledge that will be able to help us to get where we want to be. Now, of course, I've spent some time with Rich Dad Education over the last couple of years. In fact, I think it was from about 2015 or 2016 up to 2019. I had the opportunity to be one of their speakers here in South Africa. And of course, going throughout South Africa and helping people to get educated in the areas of financial education and, of course, property investing as well, and how we are able to use property investing as vehicles to help us achieve our financial goals and also to secure our financial future. So a lot of what I'm going to be sharing with you today, my reference is really, learning about financial education and property investing the Rich Dad way, or the Rich Dad Education way. And for those of you who don't know anything about Rich Dad Education, you might have heard of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. So Robert Kiyosaki is the author of that book, and both him and Kim Kiyosaki are the owners of Rich Dad Education. I'm actually busy with a book by Kim Kiyosaki called It's Rising Time, and I'm going to try and just show it to you quickly. So this is the book. So it's called It's Rising Time, and I've been spending some time on this book, over the last while. And I promise you, I'm actually studying this book. So as I'm reading the book, I'm highlighting, I'm making notes, I'm going back, and I'm actually moving forward. And of course, a lot of the information that she shares in the book is what I've been exposed to before, through various books that I've read of both of them, or some of the teachings that I've received from them. But I just find that, there's so many nuggets that she's also sharing in this book that's just giving me a deeper understanding and a deeper revelation of financial education, and, how I'm able to move my financial goals forward from where I am today. So I'm going to be sharing some insights with you shortly, but what I also want to say to you as we get started today, and for those of you who maybe don't know where you are financially today, I think it's important to write down, what your financial income is at this time, what your financial expenses is, and then also the type of financial income that you want to receive, whether it be per month, whether it be per quarter, or whether it be per annum. I think it's so important for us to be clear about those goals before you even start seeking out any kind of financial education or any other means of education that will be able to help you move these financial goals forward. And then also, I think it's so important for you also to complete a complete financial assessment on where you are today. So, don't just take the total income amount or the total expenses amount or the total cash flow amount. Have a clear understanding. So do a full assessment in terms of all the types of income that you are collecting today. Have a clear understanding of all the expenses. That also, if you are in a position today where you are collecting some means of cash flow, then it's also important to understand where the cash flow is coming from. Now, for those of you who don't know what cash flow is, let me just explain this to you in summary. So if you have an investment strategy that you are investing in today, so what you would need to do is you would need to take all of the income, you take the expenses, you deduct it from and I'm talking about in the areas of property, and you deduct the expenses then from the income that you are collecting, and the balance that you have remaining is then referred to as cash flow, or positive cash flow is what we're looking for. So we're looking for positive cash flow. If you are netting negative cash flow, that means that you are making a loss on that particular strategy. So that means that that strategy is not bringing money into your pocket. Instead, it's taking money out of your pocket. Now, I want to be sharing with you, just some strategies. Some of you may not be familiar with this, some of you may be, but I just want to share with you some strategies that you are able to consider when it comes to property investing, so that you are able to see how property investing can actually start putting money into your pockets. And I know a lot of people, when they hear property investing, they think you need to have lots and lots of of capital available so that you are able to move into property investing. But really, ladies and gentlemen, it actually starts by getting the knowledge first, because you don't necessarily have to have all of that capital investment, in order to go into some of the deals that I'm going to be sharing, or some of the strategies that I'm going to be sharing with you today. But it's important for you to know that you need to have the right level of knowledge so that you're able to go into that particular line. But I didn't know anything about, the strategies that I'm going to be sharing with you today. It was really only in 2014 when I started my financial educational journey. And of course, when I started, attending property workshops, property investing workshops, and Rich Dad Education played a very strategic role early in my journey, and also continued to play a strategic role throughout my journey. So that was really when I started learning about income generating assets, and also about how we are able to use property as vehicles to help us generate capital profits, and also then monthly cash flow through property. So some of my insights and that I'm going to be sharing with you today is what I have learned over the last couple of years. I've applied some of that in my journey, and of course I've been able to generate income that is then helping me to move my financial goals forward. Now you may ask me, Candice, why are you sharing this particular topic today? Or why do you feel the need to educate us, in this particular area when it comes to knowing your financial situation as well as property investing? It's because I'm very passionate about helping people to use property and business as vehicles to help them achieve their financial goals. So almost everything I do today involves some sort of empowerment, or some sort of training or coaching or equipping that is able to help people move their property and their business goals forward, and as a result, their financial goals. So for those of you who listened to me last week I spent some time talking to you about how you are able to start your own online business in the current economic climate, and how you can start generating some income, and also start securing some residual income as part of that particular strategy. So of course I spent some time taking you through that, and today I just want to take it a little bit further and just talk about how you could possibly use some of the income that you're going to be generating through that particular business opportunity, which is your own online e-commerce business, how you can generate income there, of course, and how you're able to use that income and then use it towards either property investing, and maybe some of you have other streams of income in place today. So for those of you who haven't started your property investing journey, I think it's important for you also to start, considering that as well, because I'm sure many of you have heard that property is a good investment strategy. I mean, it's currently a trillion dollar, I don't know how many trillions, I don't have the exact amount, but it's $1 trillion industry at the moment. So that tells us that there's a lot of opportunity as far as the industry is concerned. But of course, you need to know what you are doing in order to take advantage of the opportunities, and in order to generate income into your pocket. So today I'm really talking to those of you who maybe have 1 or 2 deals in place, or maybe you haven't started property investing and you are an aspiring property investor, and my talk is mostly then directed to you today. But as I said, it really comes by understanding what your financial situation is, and also then what it is that you need. Now, I just want to share with you some nuggets that I have been reading from the book. As I said to you, it's Rising Time. So this is the book by Kim Kiyosaki, who just happens to be one of my online mentors as well. And I've actually had the opportunity to also attend one of her workshops so I just got to know the woman also a lot better, in addition to reading her books. But as you are going to discover as you are discovering what your financial truth is, so your financial truth really is understanding where you are today. So having a clear understanding of what that assessment looks like. So what your financial assessment looks like today, and also, where you want to be and where you need to be. But let me just share with you some insights that I got from the book, And in fact, I'm reading directly from the book. So it says here some steps to take. So it says, tell yourself the truth about any and all income that comes into your household. So if you have a pen and a paper today, I want you to actually write some of these notes down. So tell yourself the truth about any and all income that comes into your household today. And then be brutally honest about your expenses. So what exactly do you spend every month? So this is not a matter of your numbers looking good. It is a matter of knowing where you are, period. So it's important for you to be brutally honest and know what your expenses are. And then she says, yeah, if you enjoy eating out every night, then financial freedom for you better include eating out every night. So financial independence means having the money to live the life you want, not just having enough to survive. So that's truly what financial independence is for those of you who hear the term from time to time. So it's really about having the freedom, having the flexibility to live the life that you want and not just having enough to survive. So can you see it's over and above, or it's more than just surviving? And then the next point here that she raises is, what investments do you own today? So do you have stocks, bonds, mutual funds, retirement plans, real estate, other than your home? So not your home, unless your home is an income generating asset, which means that you are staying on your personal residence, but you have other properties there as well, or other rooms that may be generating income for you today. So you are able to take that into account as well. And the other items that she mentions here is business investments, gold or silver. So what do you have that is making you money without you working for it? And I think I'm just going to stop it there. And Warren Buffett says that if you do not find a way to make money whilst you sleep, you will work until you die. So it's important for us to start finding ways of how we are able to secure that type of income. Now, I understand many of you out there might be doing jobs today that you are enjoying. You might be in business ventures that you are passionate about and you are pursuing that. One of my business ventures is called SME Woman, and I'm very passionate about this particular business venture. And it's really about empowering women in business and into business. And this is one of my passions. So I do it not only for the financial means, but I do it because I'm passionate about the initiative. I'm passionate about our mandate. And I believe that it's part of my calling, part of my purpose. So that's one of, so I understand that some of you might be doing businesses today because you are passionate about doing those businesses. But at the same time, whilst you may be pursuing traditional type businesses today, it's important for you to start thinking of ways of how you are able to generate additional income. And I've mentioned some ways to you. And of course, today I'm going to be talking about property and how property can actually help you to start putting in place additional streams of income. Now, for those of you who are online today, I want to ask you, are you already investing in property, or are you an aspiring property investor? So for those of you who are online today, just tell me if you are already investing in property or if you are an aspiring property investor. And whilst you are busy getting your comments ready or your responses ready, I just want to quickly take you through the main strategies that you are able to pursue in residential property investing and how these strategies are able to generate some income for you that you are able to use towards your financial goals. So the first strategy that I want to tell you about is called a capital flip. So this is a strategy in property called a capital flip. Now, capital flip is when you buy a property below market value or at a good price, and you are then able to sell that property at a profit. So the profit that you will be generating as part of that particular transaction is then referred to as capital profits or capital gains. So that is now when you are investing in property or buying property rather for capital profits or capital gains. So let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, you buy a property at 500,000 and you are now able to sell that property, let's say maybe at 700,000 or 800,000. Okay, so if you sell that property at 800,000, of course there will be some costs associated to that transaction, and let's say, for example, all the costs maybe amount to 100,000. So that means the balance, the 200,000, is then what you have generated as income on that particular deal. And then, of course, now that particular income can help you take care of maybe some of your debt that you have today, maybe some of your business opportunities that you are pursuing, or some of your other financial goals that you need to take care of. So that is potentially what that particular income can do for you. Now, the other thing that I want to talk to you about is, or another strategy that I want to talk to you about, is what we now call cash flowing strategies. So there are mainly two strategies in property. There's capital strategies, there's cash flowing strategies. So as part of the capital strategies, I've now just shared with you the capital flip, which is then the buying and selling of property. And I've given you a scenario so that you kind of understand that. The next main strategy is called cash flowing strategies. And as part of cash flowing strategies, we now have strategies in property that we refer to as buy to let, and then also multi-let. So with a buy to let, you generally have one lease agreement in place. So that means you will have one tenant in place as far as that particular agreement is concerned. And then with a multi-let agreement, you normally have more than one lease agreement in place on that particular property, or you may have multiple tenants in place. So that's really the main difference between a buy-to-let and a multi-let. Now, as a trained property investor, you are able to buy properties at the right prices, leveraging the right strategy in the right area, and also buying the right property type that will be able to work in that particular area. Now, as part of you buying property in that particular area, you will now be able to rent that property out. And this is just what I'm sharing with you as part of the scenario. And let's say, for example, you are able to rent that property out as a multi-let. So let's say you bought a property, it maybe has 3 or 4 properties on it. It maybe has the main house with maybe 2 cottages and a garage that you've been able to convert into another cottage. And now you're able to rent out the main house, the 2 existing cottages, and of course the garage that you've converted into another cottage. So that means you would be able to collect rental income from 4 different properties on that particular property that you have bought. So that is now income that you are collecting, that you are generating as part of that particular strategy. Now, when you take all of your expenses associated to that particular deal and you deduct it from the rental income, you will be left with an amount of money. Now, that amount of money will either be positive or it will be negative. Now, of course, as trained property investors, we always want to go into positive cash flow deals. So you want to then make sure that when you deduct the expenses from the rental income, you're able to generate profit income as part of that particular transaction or as part of that particular deal. Now, that's the important thing, is that you need to now start finding ways of how you are able to go into property and go into strategies where you are able to generate profit income. Why? Because I think everyone at this time understands the importance of generating profit income. Of course, with property, property prices in South Africa have gone up over the last couple of years. We have seen, slower growth over the last 12 months, but property prices have still escalated. So that means that if you are able to buy your properties at good prices and the right prices, you are able to sell them at a profit at a later stage, or you can keep them for rental income, which can help you take care of your monthly financial needs. And let's say today that you need, for example, let's say all of your expenses on a monthly basis amounts to, let's say, about 30,000, for example. Okay, now you now need to find income generating strategies that is now able to generate income so that you are able to take care of that 30,000 expense amount that you have today. And let's say, for example, the online business that we spoke about last week, let's say that business is bringing in maybe let's say it's bringing in 10 or 15,000 as part of that particular strategy. And let's say, for example, you now have property deals that you have in place that is also maybe bringing 15 to 20,000 every month. Now, let's say we go for the maximum amount, so that's 20 plus the 15,000. So you are now left with 35,000. So that means that through those strategies, you are generating positive income that is now, and I'm talking here about, we're looking at semi-passive income or residual type of income that you've been able to generate through these strategies. Because once you have a rental property in place, you know, you are not necessarily going to be putting in the same efforts every day in order to get the income. So once you've put in the efforts in the beginning to buy the property, to tenant the property, you will eventually reach a stage now where you just start collecting money from that property every month. So you no longer have to put in the same amount of effort every month in order to generate the income that you are generating. And those are the type of strategies that you're looking for. You want to be in a position where these strategies start generating income for you, irrelevant of whether you are sleeping or whether you are awake. And that's really what I'm trying to share with you as part of this particular strategy. So let's take the 15,000 and the 20,000, that gives you 35,000. So that means that you are generating passive income or semi-passive income of 35,000. And that is now able to cover your expenses of 30,000. And of course, you still have an additional 5,000, which you can use towards another income generating strategy, or, you know, towards maybe some other financial goals that you may have at this time. So that's really just the point that I was just trying to emphasize as part of that. So I think for those of you who are in a situation today where you only have one source of income, I think it's important to start looking at additional ways of how you're able to generate additional income. And I think it's important for you to also know the different strategies that we are able to pursue through property. Now, really, for those of you who would like to also learn more, if you are an aspiring property investor today and you would love to get started in property, but you're not quite sure how you're able to get started, I would just like to share with you that I do have an online property coaching program. The next one will be starting on the 26th of November 2020. So for those of you who are interested, you are able to join me on this particular program. So it is a 7-session program. And as part of our session 1, I will be giving you training on the main strategies in residential property investing, which includes capital flips, back-to-back deals, buy-to-lets, multi-lets, and we'll also talk about creative finance options in terms of how you're able to fund those deals. Some of you are maybe not even familiar that there's a strategy called a back-to-back deal in property, or no money down deal. So that means that you don't have to put any capital down in order to go into that particular strategy and start generating capital profits. I'll be taking you through that as well. We'll also have session 2, which I call the preparation phase. And this is really where we talk about mindset, we talk about goals, we talk about your financial truth, where you are today, where you want to be. And I also talk to you about structures and the different ways that you are able to buy property today. And it's so important to also start with structures so that you understand the type of impact that it can have on your property investing as we move forward. And then, of course, session 3 will cover how to find the best deals. So you will learn about how to go out and do area research so that you become the area specialist as far as your property is concerned. No longer are you just going to be going into any area and buy property. You are going to be ensuring that you have done a level of due diligence and research, before you start making those decisions. And of course, there are online platforms that you are also able to pursue as part of that. And of course, I've shared with you Property Pick being one of those platforms, but we'll go into more detail in terms of how you're able to use the different platforms as well as the area search to help you make the best decision so that you can start buying property that is going to be putting money into your pocket and not taking money out of your pocket. And then there's also session 4 where we talk about choosing your power team. Now, power team in property really consists of property professionals and experts that need to be part of your power team. And I will be taking you through that particular session as well in terms of all the members that need to be part of your power team and how you can actually go about start putting your power team in place. Because remember, as part of you receiving training and coaching in property, you will become the trained property investor, but you don't necessarily have to be the expert on every single area that involves property. And of course, that's what we're going to be talking about. Also running the numbers against the main strategies. So it's important to also know how to run the numbers. Now that you know the different types of strategies, how to leverage them, you need to know how do you actually run the numbers to ensure that that particular property transaction is going to be a profit opportunity for you. Because buy property with our calculators, we need to ensure that we run the numbers before we buy property. And then also I'll be taking you through the legal processes involved, and especially the buying process. And I'll also be sharing with you additional agreements that you need to consider as part of your legal processes, which also includes joint venture agreements. And then finally, we're going to be talking about how you're able to actually put that action plan together. So planning for property success via an action plan and what you need to do. So what will be the first step, the second step, the third step that you need to do now in order to move your property goals forward. So for those of you who would like to learn more about the online property coaching program, you are welcome to go onto my website, www.candicevandwyk.com. Under upcoming events, you'll be able to find the online property coaching program, and you would then be able to register directly from my website. So if you are interested in also becoming more knowledgeable in educating yourself in the areas of property investing, then I would definitely say come and join me on this particular online property coaching program. And of course, you'd be able to then get started and start moving those goals forward. And you, as part of the coaching, you will also then receive access to all of the online recorded sessions. There's also additional material that I will be sharing with you in terms of running legal documents that I will be sharing with you, legal templates that you would also be able to use as part of your property journey going forward. So remember to connect with me then on www.candicevandwyk.com under upcoming events. And of course, if you've got any other questions, you're also welcome to email me on info@candicevandwyk.com, and I will happily answer some of the questions that you may have. Okay, so I think that's really what I wanted to talk to you about today, is really opening yourselves up to new ways and new strategies of achieving your financial goals. If you haven't been able to achieve all of your financial goals up to now, it's important to start opening yourself up to new ways and new strategies to do that. And we start looking for new ways and strategies that will be able to give us some sort of passive income, residual income, because we want to put in the efforts in the beginning, but you don't want to be putting in the same amount of effort every single day in order for you to start seeing a return on that. So it's important to also educate yourself in the areas on how you are able to invest into strategies or find strategies today that can also start, giving you that residual or passive income that you are looking for. So that's so important. And what will that do for us? If we can have more, if we have all of the income that we need through the various strategies that we are pursuing, that means that you have more of your time back. And now that you have more of your time back, you choose what you want to do with your time. So you can spend it on, spend time with your family. You can spend it on other aspirations that you may have. You may spend it on traveling, whatever it is that you want to do. When you have the financial independence that you need, and you also have your time back, that will together, you will have a better quality of life, and you would be able to really do all of the things that you are passionate about and all of the things that you want to do as part of your personal goals. So once again, as I said, I'm very passionate about helping people use property and business as vehicles to help them achieve their financial goals. And as I said, over the last couple of years, I've spent some time helping people to move their financial goals forward by leveraging property and business as vehicles to help them achieve that. So for those of you who would like to connect with me on my website, please do go onto my contact page and you'll be able to connect with me. Either you send me an email or you'll even be able to book an appointment with me. I also have a platform where you're able to actually book directly with me if you need to spend, maybe 15 or 30 minutes with me and just talking about some of the reflections that I share with you, or some of the insights, or some of the programs, or some of the opportunities that I share with you. You're welcome to connect with me on that platform as well. So thank you so much, everyone. It was good connecting with you. And let me just see. Okay, thanks for joining. Winfred, thank you so much for joining us. Werner, it's good seeing you. Yvette, thank you for joining. And everyone, if you've got any comments or any questions, please do feel free to leave that. And I will definitely connect with you during the course of today. But I'll also be sharing with you the links that I've just discussed with you. And you would be able then to go into those links. And then, of course, remember, if you are interested in the property coaching, I would be happy to work with you. So you would also be able to connect with me via the link that I will be sharing with you on the property coaching as well. Awesome. So have a blessed day and a blessed weekend, everyone, and we'll catch up soon. God bless you.